Hey guys, it's me Courtney and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're talking about the new Stila Hide and Chic Fluid Foundation. I've been trying this foundation out for about 2 weeks now, give or take. And so I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts and opinions. I'm going to give you the best application that I've got from it and all of that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, then please continue to watch. Now ignore this right here, like I'm pretty sure I got stung by mosquitoes at some point and that's what that is. Ignore that. We'll try to see if we can kind of get the foundation to cover that up a little bit. Also, my nails are a hot mess, so ignore that as well. This is the actual foundation. You do get 1 ounce, $39. I'm starting to feel like a trend with foundations being around that $39 to $42 price range. It does come in 30 shades. I got the shade Tan 5. Originally, I actually picked up Tan Deep 3, which was a little bit too dark for me. This is by no means like my actual shade, but it is the closest that I could get to it. So now I am gonna do something a little bit different today. Usually I only do like one primer or no primer kind of thing. Today I'm going to layer on several primers, and the reason being is in trying this foundation out, I find that it kind of takes a village to make it work. I've tried this with different primers by itself. It's not a good look. I've tried this with different powders, all the creams, all this other stuff. And I'm going to give you guys the best way to make it work, if that makes sense. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in with my Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. And I'm literally gonna take just like a flat foundation brush. And then I'm going to put this as my all over base to give myself like a light, smooth layer. Next, I'm going to take my Nars Pore and Shine Control Primer, and that's gonna go in this T-zone. One for the oils, but also for my pores right here, so that this foundation can't open up those pores as easily, if that makes sense. One thing I am going to try to avoid with this foundation is putting too much product right here, and not even too much. Like when I tell you I'm going to graze this area when I put this foundation on, this foundation will sink into certain crevices and then it'll create like this like gunk is the best way I can describe it. Now that being said, the next thing I'm gonna go into, this is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. This one I'm only gonna use a very, very small amount. Like you really only need about that much. Can y'all see that? Hopefully y'all can. Y'all can see that, right? So I'm gonna just pat that, not so much in the nose, but just like around the side, where my smile lines are typically a problem. Now that we are primed, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys a little bit closer in so we can get into the foundation. Right, so we're gonna go in on this side really quick with a sponge so you can see that. I'm going to shake it up really well. Now I'm going to do 2 pumps. That is 2 pumps. It's super runny, so you wanna be careful. All right, so we have no foundation and with foundation. As you can still see a little bit of my moles. If I come up a little closer, you can see a little bit of my pores as well. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so this is 1 even layer of foundation. That took 2 pumps, so I'm gonna do another 2 pumps on this hand, and I'm gonna use my brush on this side. So this is sponge, and this is brush. Now off top, you're gonna get more coverage with a brush, absolutely. Because this is more of a liquidy, like super duper watery product, your sponge is going to typically suck that up a little bit more. I don't mind that because I like my skin to be more of a soft layer, if that makes sense. But you do get more coverage with a brush. With that being said, this is a foundation that feels heavy. When I use a sponge, it feels less heavy than the brush. So it's gonna be up to you what your level of comfort is as far as that goes. Now I am gonna go back over it with the sponge. One, because I want it to feel better and suck up a little bit more product, but also this foundation does typically get stuck right in this area right here and it cakes up really bad. So I'm gonna go back over it with the sponge just to sort of lighten it up a little bit so we don't get as much caking. What I will say is it's already starting to try to kind of crease a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that, and my pores are a little bit open in that area. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face. I'm gonna put a little bit of concealer on, a little bit of powder, because I feel like the powder will it'll smooth out these areas where I feel like my pores are trying to like open up. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll come back and you guys can see like the final result with everything all put together and such. Alright guys, so this is the look that we are going to be rocking today. It's so funny, it's like officially fall outside now. It's cold and all of that good stuff, and I'm still like spring and summer vibes on my eyes. I don't know why. Anywho, it is now 11:22, so we'll just round it to 11:20. So far we're not looking horrible. Like I said, I've been trying this foundation out for a while, and I have had some really bad, rough looking days with this foundation. I didn't end up taking pictures or anything like that, so I apologize for that. But with the way that we did set up our makeup today, I feel like, you know, it's going to work better. Like, this is the same way that I set it up the last time that it worked the best for me. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and continue about the rest of my day. I will come back a little bit later and show you guys how everything wore, and then we'll talk about sort of my pros, my cons, my final thoughts on the Stila foundation. Yeah. All right guys, I am back, and this is what my face is looking like. It is now 9 o'clock on the dot. Look at that. I have tried this foundation with so many products, and it's one of those foundations that I've tried to make work and tried just playing with it as much as I can, building it up to a full coverage, you know, trying to go as light as I can, like just playing with it in so many different ways. I'm not a fan of this foundation, and I'm gonna tell you all the reasons, but I just want to go ahead and get that out there. This is not one of the better releases from Stila. I'll say that. That being said, I did go on the website, and it actually has pretty decent reviews on here. Let me see. Yeah, well, there's not a ton. It's only 22 reviews, but still. Yep, okay, wait, yep, never mind. As far as what the foundation claims, it says it's featherweight, pigments, blur imperfections, buildable coverage, natural satin finish. It's buildable in a sense that technically you can do 2 layers and get a fuller coverage than what I got today, right? Technically you can still see my moles and stuff, so if I were to go in with 1 more layer, you absolutely can. However, because this foundation is so heavy, I don't recommend doing that because you're going to feel it even more so. Every time that I have worn this foundation, no matter how light I go with it, I can feel it. Everywhere I can feel it. Especially if you build it up, not only does it feel heavy, but it's definitely cakey. I have had at least 3 to 4 days that I've gone with this foundation where it literally sinks in. And I rarely have that happen, but it literally sunk into the lines around my nose to the point where it was like gunked up right here. It looked disgusting. And then like in my smile lines, I don't mind when a foundation doesn't cover my smile lines necessarily. I know I smile and laugh a lot, I'm really goofy, but when it cakes into the lines and creates like this line of makeup or a line of foundation within it, that's when I can't stand a foundation. And that's exactly what this does. Today and yesterday have been the best applications because I had to layer on my primers. I had to, you know, set it, which by the way, this is a foundation that does not dry down. It's not quite satiny to me. To me, it feels a little bit more sticky when I put it on. So you definitely have to set it. I don't recommend this foundation for anybody that has oily skin. Just no. Just no. I mean, like I said, today and yesterday have been the best applications I've gotten out of it, but I've had to do so much to make it look okay. Not feel okay, because it still sucks. It feels horrible on my skin, but it at least looks okay. And it was able to last today, I think, fairly well. Now, if I look up close, I still have makeup sort of getting, especially right here, I do have makeup still getting in my creases, right? And if I look right here, my pores are popping. But this is not as bad as it has been when I just use one primer or any of the other times that I've tried it, really. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention with this foundation, I've gone or I tried to go a little bit lighter handed with it to see if maybe that would kind of combat the feel of it. And in order for me to get one full even base, I have to use about 3 to 4 pumps. So it's one of those foundations, you end up using a lot of product, but then you don't quite get the coverage you want completely unless you use about 3 to 4 pumps. It doesn't spread as well as it would need to in order for me to use less product, if that makes sense. And even when I did 2 pumps, I could still feel it on my face. And that day it got super oily and cakey too. It's almost like it wants to accentuate all of my fine lines, all of my pores, all of my crevices. Like it just wants to sink in to everything. You know what I mean? It might just be that for my particular skin type, this is just not gonna sit right. You know what I mean? Not too long ago, I talked about the Pat McGrath primer, I think it was, and the way that that just would not mesh with my skin. And I feel like maybe this Stila is doing the same thing where it just does not want to flow with my skin. Because like I said, I looked online at the reviews, and now there's not a ton of reviews. It's only about 20 reviews or so, but I mean, some people like it. Like when it comes to foundations, I really just need a decent base that feels comfortable. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I'm that hard to please when it comes to foundation products, but this one has got to be the worst next to the Fenty, because that one kind of didn't work for me either, the luminous one. But this has got to be probably the worst one that I've tried lately. What I will say is this is not a foundation that I recommend for oily skin, dry skin. This is a pass, a hard pass for me. I hope this video was helpful. I hope I wasn't being too negative. I was gonna say, I was trying to find redeeming qualities about this foundation, and the best thing that I can say is that today it looks better than it has looked before. That's it. That's all I got. But like I said, hopefully this video was helpful. If so, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video if the mood suits you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.